Greetings, everyone. This is Rock Roll Spot Convention with the remainder of this week's weekly comic book roundup. And now we'll be focusing on this week's DC books, which, coincidentally, are all Black Label titles. So, yeah. Starting off with The Low Low Woods, number 6. Final issue in the series. Where we left off, our heroines, V and L, had learned the truth of the waters in town and quite a bit about the history of the town as well. They also had managed to find a way to at least somewhat cure what, at least bring back the memories that the waters had done away with. The pair went to go to speak to V's friend Jessica. However, Jessica has gone to party with some of the local boys, and so L and V ride out to save her. They find Jessica at the water, clearly having and a bunch of the local boys are there as well. One of them informs V that once upon a time V had begged for what was in the cup. Then some of the other creatures from the area arrive. And L is pointed in the direction of some suncat mushrooms. She eats one and remembers. She then gives Jessica one of the sun caps, which causes Jessica to let off a scream, which is described by V as being grief and rage and something bigger, older, primordial. And Jessica creates a sinkhole, which swallows up creatures as well as some of the local boys. Explained that it wasn't that people didn't believe them, but that they knew. And the missing boys were said to have been careless. The lesson was not don't do what they did, but rather don't get caught. And so L and V take the mushrooms and make means of and distribute what they can to everyone. Some chose to remember, some chose to forget. We learned that V would get accepted into Harvard. And in the end, it turns out that V hasn't taken their memory, that which brings back memory. Then she does, and the book ends with V and L lying in bed next to one another, and telling each other that saying I love each one another. And then we look down below and see shoes on the floor. We see the basement of it, at Elle's place and underneath the basement, and then a look at the underneath of the town itself, which that's quite the picture. Of course, we've still got Sea Dogs. Chapter 27. Where we left off, the captain of the HMS Havoc lies on the deck, doing his best to hold his guts in, as the werewolves who have been murdering their way through his crew have been revealed. One of whom, the captain, is stabbed. That one explains, however, that Conkapot did try to warn the captain, explaining that the wolves could not be hurt by their guns or swords. And he further explained he was drawn and quartered in Salem 100 years previously. His parts reassembled themselves in 3 days. No weapon of this earth can truly hurt his kind. And so, the captain explains that he actually did listen to what Conkapot said, which is why he took the liberty of loading the carronade with the meteorite he has carried with him for years. He's very curious to see how it performs. He then orders the carronade be turned on the werewolf and fired. And it blows a sizable hole through the wolf, seemingly taking down one. However, in the process, Mr. Little is attacked and by one of the other werewolves and seemingly killed, as Conkapot must be the one to finish the job off. Which brings us to the Plunge, number 4. Where we left off, the survivors of the Derleth were told their would-be rescuers their tale and exposed them to some gifts. A Walkman that allows you to hear thoughts, the ingot, which any who have eyes are immediately drawn to upon seeing it. This in fact led to the deaths of 3 of the crew. 3 of the McCready's crew. Captain Carpenter basically tells the survivors of the Derleth to get stuffed and is beaten down for it. However, Lacombe makes an offer to the survivors. Hey, we can negotiate. And the true nature of the survivors is revealed. Rather large worms, one of which the crew already saw. A much larger version. To explain, they're more of a collective. They tried to get the captain of the Derleth to help them, but she refused, and they sent her adrift in a raft years previously, as shown in the previous issues. And so, the leader of the survivors explains what it is they want. In the crater, there's a hatch under the water. On the other side is a kind of lifeboat, a way for the creatures to leave. Because that's what they want to do. They want to leave. They don't belong here. But the lifeboat is locked away inside a capsule made of the Salangeel, an element not found on Earth's periodic table. A low charge courses through the outer shell of the Salangeel. It's harmless to humans, but fatal to them. Captain's brother Then offers a counter proposal. Literally, the survivors can go fuck themselves. And so he and one of the other are held down while one of the creatures is forced to each of them. Captain's brother, it actually seems not to take. However, with Clark, or with Bosley, it takes. And he becomes part of the group, or part of the group of survivors. However, for whatever reason, Captain's brother is unclean, and for the moment an unsuitable host. We also learn the tragic tale of Bosley's past. Killed his sister while driving home drunk. Became a nurse to atone, but now Bosley is gone. And so Lacombe decides, we'll think over your offer. Give us give us a day to think it over. Russell then explains that what's most likely for why Gage Carpenter is an unsuitable host is the tea, the mushroom tea that he drank. So those of the previous crew that drank it are currently unsuitable hosts. Back on the ship, they discuss what's going on, or what they're going to do. Mariah and the Carpenters both agree, though, that they're not giving the survivors what they want. Lacombe, meanwhile, has taken an X-ray of the ingot through the hand of the one holding it. He's also done an X-ray of Russell's head, and there is a mild cerebral trauma. Lacombe and Carpenter are definitely not on the same page. Though Lacombe does kind of say, hey, they want to leave the Earth. We want them to go. Why not help them leave? Carpenter thinks that while the survivors may be full of worms, Lacombe is a worm. Lacombe further explains that they hold all the cards. They have no reason to lie. He feels it's fairly safe to say that the two groups understand one another. Captain Carpenter disagrees, and they don't need to wonder what they might not be telling them. They can just ask. And he opens up the body bag that contains one of the other survivors, and basically explains it's time for that survivor to talk. And that is where the issue ends. The issue does not quite end there. At 4:30 in the morning in Russia, a monitoring station picks up something. Though the dialogue for the entire scene is written in Russian, and I don't read or speak Russian, so I have no idea what it is, but I doubt it's anything good. Which brings us to Sea Dogs, chapter 28. One of the beasts is down. However, a lit match has been dropped into a bucket full of powder as one of the other wolves attacks another crewman, causing an explosion aboard the Havoc, which seemingly takes out yet another of the creatures. And that is where that portion of things ends. Moving on to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, Book 2. Where we left off, Harley had returned to Brooklyn. The hotel that her gang of Harleys was staying in had been foreclosed upon, and then later burned to the ground. Her friend Tony had been hospitalized, and so Harley decided it was time to get back at the group, at the company that, she got the mortgage on the place from. Upon arriving in Gotham, however, she was not met with a warm welcome from, at least not from Detective Renee Montoya. Montoya has bought her a ticket to go right back to Brooklyn, though, and, Harley promptly tears up the ticket. Explains that she actually has a gift for Renee. She also goes over a list of the things she wants. Explaining that it's nice to want things, but you don't always get them. And she'll only be a few days. So, anywho, the cops show up at Montoya's request to escort Harley back to the train station. She asks, hey, can I at least take a crap? So an explosion emanates from the restroom, and the toilet she was using is gone underground. And we see what we get an idea of what Harley's present to Montoya was. A list of addresses. Harley, it turns out, has been picked up by Atlee, briefly known for a while as Tara, and a friend of Harley's. Basically taking her underground. Cassandra then breaks off to go borrow a Batgirl costume from the laid-up Barbara Gordon, who is having to sit things out with a broken leg. At one of the Joker's hideouts, his new would-be girlfriend, Sin, is beating to death an ice cream man for not having the flavor she wanted. The Joker then tells her to meet him upstairs for a two-part present. One is a new outfit. Purple, green, and black. Well, the second part of his gift to her is about to come up. But it turns out the place is surrounded. So, Joker and Sin take off in a helicopter and head to another hideout, which is also surrounded by cops. And as is the other one. Also, all the henchmen in all of these hideouts have been taken prisoner. However, what Joker doesn't realize is he's being followed by the Birds of Prey. He has a hideout no one can know about, an abandoned hangar. He then gives Sin some diamonds and tells her to go to the Platinum Hotel, and to give Armando one of the diamonds in the bag, as Armando will set him up and give her everything she needs. And she's to wait there until she hears from Joker. The birds then go in, but they figure, considering this is Joker we're going after, maybe we should have just charged on in. And while Joker's not planning on blowing up with a bomb, he does have a rather large machine gun. And Cassandra kind of takes it from him. But as he's reaching for a grenade in his pocket, she does stab him lightly in the shoulder causing him to drop the grenade. Cassandra uses her sword to bat the grenade away, and uses Joker to shield herself from the blast. And so, Joker's being taken off to Arkham. Orders being to sedate him, take him to Arkham, fix his pasty ass up, then dump him in Max. And so Black Canary offers user powers to open the various boxes that Joker had present. It's all just junk. And so Atlee and Harley arrive at their destination, the Joker's vault, his underground vault. However, Harley's no longer on the access list, so she and Atlee end up fighting the Joker bots. And then the bracelet the Joker's wearing starts beeping and glowing. Bomb Squad goes in to remove the bracelet, thinking it might be a bomb. And back at the vault, Atlee and Harley take out the Joker bots, and then take all of Joker's loot. And they come to an abandoned stable. Atlee, however, decides she has to get going, and they'll hang out again sometime. And Harley suggests that since Atlee's people aren't exactly, don't really understand materialism, maybe they should just try to avoid coming to the surface for another century or so. But it's cold, it's raining. When Harley leaves the stable, but she does see a nice big house in the distance, and decides that's where she's gonna head, because she bets the place has a fireplace and a cozy bed she can crash on, and a giant pantry full of cereal and candy and ham. And we discover that the big house she's heading to is none other than stately Wayne Manor. At Arkham, however, Riddler is mopping around, comes upon Two-Face, Penguin, and Clayface, who are all playing cards together. It turns out that vault of Jokers, it wasn't just his loot. It was also the ill-gotten gains of Two-Face, Penguin, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Hugo Strange, and various others. And so the assembled villains go to visit the Joker. And he says, yes, the vault was broken into, and, most likely all of your treasures have been plundered. But he has a plan, as he knows exactly who did it. Harley Quinn. And that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to our final book of the week. Batman, the Smile Killer. The follow-up one-shot to the recent Joker Killer Smile Black Label series. So we begin. A young boy turns on the television, and Mr. Smiles' Playhouse comes on. Turns out Mr. Smiles is doing a crafts project that day. They're going to make themselves a friend. Viewers will make themselves a friend. In the present, Batman arrives at the scene of a crime, knowing it was the Joker. But he's too late. Gordon tries to tell him that the deaths aren't on Batman, though he insists that they always are. Every second he fails, the body count rises. Gordon then remarks that one man can't save one Gotham alone. Though Batman states that if he doesn't, the Joker will destroy it. However, something with the bodies catches Batman's eye. Mr. Pouts. And so, we cut back to Mr. Smiles' playhouse and the young boy watching. His name is Bruce. Apparently, the friend that Mr. Smiles instructed Bruce to make ended up being Mr. Pouts. And well, bad boys need to learn their lessons. And so, Mr. Smiles insists that young Bruce, pick up the scissors and stick them in his eye. However, Bruce's mother stops him from doing this. And he explains to her that Mr. Smiles will do it. In the present, Batman and the Joker have themselves a brief scuffle. And suddenly, Bruce Wayne is in Arkham. Next door to Dr. Arnell. He explains to him everything, that he's Batman. But Arnell says, I know you think you're Batman, but we've been through this a million times. Batman isn't real. Bruce figures, this is a trap, an elaborate scheme. Maybe he's been drugged or brainwashed. Maybe this whole thing might not be real. There has to be a way out. And so, the orderlies show up, he fights them off, and he's taken to Dr. Jim Gordon. We see that young Bruce speaking to Dr. Gordon, telling him about Mr. Smiles and the bad stories Mr. Smiles tells. In the present, Bruce tries to tell Gordon that everything's wrong and things are not what they're supposed to be. However, Gordon explains there's someone here to see Bruce. His mother. So he said, no, you can't be here. That's how you die. And she explains that, no, your father wasn't shot. And your father was shot by you. He's sent back to his cell. But he knows all this is wrong. And so eventually, Bruce manages to break out of Arkham. And as he does, he looks up in the sky, asking for a sign, some way to know he's right. And in the sky is the bat signal. Bruce runs in that direction, and that is where the issue ends. And that's it for this week's roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Not sure there's going to be anything else new this week in the way of content. Maybe something in the next couple days in regards to the recent passing of Joel Schumacher. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.